Good morning. All right, good morning. Welcome to the pre-game show. We are going to get started with the sectors, then we'll look at crypto, and then we're going to look at some high volume names. And I'll show you my pre-market scan that I use for high volume names, and that's either because of news, upgrades, and the like. All right, getting started with NASDAQ. So NASDAQ has made an hourly lower high and lower low. When we scan out, it could be a 4-hour bull flag. So for us to have some solid levels to start with, we have a 4-hour inside bar. The high is 13596. Let's round that off to 13,600, and the low is 13,524. So we have a 4-hour bull flag potential on NASDAQ. And let me just zoom back in and show you what I saw. So when we have this lower high, lower low with very little follow through, you zoom out a little bit and see if you have a bull flag on a higher time frame. And of course we had lower volume due to overnight session. So really the bears didn't have the volume to pull that down quite yet. So 13596. Looking at ES, we have the same setup. So on the 4-hour, we have a potential for a bull flag. Bull flags, you typically don't want to see it give up exactly this much, but we are above the 8 and 21 EMAs. You want to be over that shorter term time frame EMA in order for it to be a bull flag. We have an inside bar here as well, and that we're actually about to break that inside bar bull on the 4-hour. And the high is 4064 and the low is 4052. And if you're just now joining us, thank you. I'm sorry I got a little bit of a late start this morning, getting the swing of things in the pregame show. So the Dow, 4-hour inside bar, you know the drill. The high, 33,412. The low, 33,294. And then RTY. Again, RTY shows us that it's the weakest. So we just did a quick rundown of the Fab 4, which I like to call the Fab 4, which are our sectors, NASDAQ, the Russell, the Dow, and SPY. And the Russell is by far the weakest. So if you're looking for something to short, if things were to go south today, I would be looking at RTY. Or if you don't trade futures, I would be looking at IWM. So just looking at the larger format, I wanted to show you the larger time frame that we could still have we have a broadening wedge happening. Some people like to call this a megaphone. What's the psychology there? I like to just forget the names a little bit and just think about what are the bears and bulls doing. So in this format on the Russell, in this pattern on the 2-day, the bulls got a lower low, bulls got a higher high, and then we're pulling back so far. And then what are the odds that the bulls can go from this lower level straight to a higher high? The odds do not favor a higher high break. And that's the psychology of a broadening wedge formation. And that's what we have going on with RTY. I like the market long overall, but I do have an RTY position short. And that is where I'm selling the RUT call credit spread. So let me show you kind of the structure of that. That is the RUT call credit spreads. And I'm looking for out of the money strikes. So I don't have that strikes just off the top of my head, but it would be somewhere up here, say 3,300, 3340s, for example, and I'm selling those to open, and I'm collecting the premium because the pattern does not favor the odds for the bulls to go up and get a higher high. So that's a potential trade idea on the sectors. Now let's go look at our commodities. Commodities, we have a gold double top here at 1739. And we have our key support down here at 1728. Let's kind of zoom out a little bit. We have a 4-hour inside bar that shows those levels a little bit more clearly, 1739 and 1728. That's a pretty wide range for gold. We may stay within that range for a little bit, and we can see that we're running in this 200 MA overhead, and the candles are having a hard time closing over that level. Next, I'm going to get a sip of coffee. We're going to look at oil. Oil, we are looking for a 4-hour lower high, and you can see that we are running into the 50 MA overhead. That is the yellow moving average. I get questions every time, so I should just pause real quick and go over my moving averages. The green exponential moving average is the 8. The red moving average is the exponential 21 EMA. The yellow is the simple 50 MA. And the purple is the simple 200 MA. So right now, oil is coming up and testing that 50 MA, and odds favor a lower high. And this is actually a decent level to short oil. I don't know of any news outstanding, so I'd be careful there. So we're looking for an hourly lower high relative to 60.34, but the bulls have made enough room for a higher low relative to 59.13. Moving to crypto land. So on crypto, the bears have not been able to pull it down. So the bulls have given the bears plenty of chances to pull it down, and they haven't. This is actually a feather in the cap of the bulls. Typically with an inverse head and shoulders pattern, let me get over here in the black area. You want to see a downward pattern, and where you get that left shoulder, head, and right shoulder, that is a reversal pattern. We really don't have a large down pattern here, but we do have this psychology. We have this very shallow pullback here on the left. We have a deep pullback in the middle and a shallow one on the right. So despite it not being in the ideal position on the chart, I would still say it looks favorable for the Bitcoin bulls. On the hourly, we are attempting to break to a higher high. We need to get through 59,000. That is the key level for the bulls to break. And then 59475. We have support at 58268. And then 58,000. So if you are a swing trader with Bitcoin, what do you do with all this information? That's a lot of levels. I would keep it really simple and say 59,000 is the key bull level to break, and 58,000 is the key support level for the bears to break. It'll just kind of keep it simple for you. And I mean, obviously simple for me as well. So we have a TTM squeeze brewing on Bitcoin. What does that mean? That means price is going sideways and we are storing energy. I don't know if you've ever used a pressure cooker or an Instapot. This is where we're just putting energy in that pot and things are building. And when we break to the upside or to the downside, you typically have a little bit more follow through when you have a preceding squeeze. So that's those red dots here. And I just want to show you real quick. The histograms are firing to the downside, and what I mean by that, let me see if I can zoom in real quick on that. With a histogram, when you are firing below, this is bearish. That means bearish momentum. This is a momentum histogram. When you're firing above this zero line, that is bullish. So right now we have a little bit of bearish momentum in Bitcoin. Ethereum looks very similar. And for those swing traders, I would keep it simple here. I would round it to 2080. 2080 is key support and 2150 is key resistance. Let me just zoom in here. We have the makings of an Adam and Eve pattern, which is a bullish reversal pattern. It's not really clear, so when I can't see it clearly, I just remind myself this is a W bottom, double bottom, where the bulls are fighting to get over 2130 and then 2135. Your support 2100 and 2080. Looking at the sectors, so in pre-market, semis don't typically have a lot of action. So on the semiconductors, we don't have a lot of action, but this is a trade I'll be looking for today. I will be setting my alert for my RSI. Actually, let me zoom back in. Sorry about that. On the 5 minute, so on the 5 minute, I am looking for the first semiconductor 5 minute oversold. How do we do that? Here, we're looking for the RSI to cross 30. And I want you to tell me only once per bar, and it's telling me that my indicator repaints. We can ignore that, it'll still work. So you see this orange line now down here in the RSI, it will tell me when price pulls back and we hit 30 RSI. And then I am going to trade SOXL, that is semiconductor to the bull side. So I will be looking for that trade pre-market. Excuse me, not pre-market, during market hours. XLF. XLF is another sector that does not have a lot of pre-market action, so we can't ascertain a lot from that information, but 3478 is your key resistance. 3463 is your key support for XLF. If we were to break above, that would be bullish, below bearish, and we got this lower low over here on not a lot of bear volume, then the bulls stepped up. This could be a bull flag on a larger time frame for XLF. You can kind of see it on the 4 hour there. On the daily, we haven't quite formed. So we'll be looking at market internals overall to give us the lay of the land with the market. But what I will be doing is kind of zooming out and looking for gap fills. So how I like to mark my gap fills is just do a price label here, 34.47. This is where the market gapped up from Friday. So this was Friday's close, 34.47. Then we opened up yesterday at 34.84. So we have a gap here. So if XLF were to roll over, you could look for a short down to 34.47 for that gap fill trade. So I think I've gone over an oversold 5 minute trade on a huge bull runner. This is a potential gap fill trade, and then we always have those very standard shorts where I look for shorting an inside bar resistance. So that is where we have two candles, excuse the wobbly drawing, where we short the upper end of the inside candle resistance or go long the inside candle support as a potential trade. So we've gone over a few standard setups that may work for you. Okay, mouse is acting up this morning. So I want to show you This is my pre-market scan. So I scanned this right before I went live. So this is the pre-market scan of high volume issues that are above $3 in the pre-market. This is the first thing I do around 5:30 or 5:15 my time, when real pre-market trading is picking up, to really look for the volume. So a lot of people ask me, where do I get my news articles? Where do I get my news sources so that I could go look at volume? Well, sometimes I don't even need to know the news. I can just go straight and do this pre-market scan and get all the information I need. So let's go through these tickers and see what's going on without even knowing the news. So Viacom, we know that was one of the names that was sold off in the margin call for, I'm going to say it wrong, Archegos or whatever. So it looks like they're having some more negative news. 39.81 is the level. Just a reminder. So yesterday we went over the blue sky breakout and how RSI doesn't matter because you don't have any bag holders overhead. So the opposite is true with black dirt breakdown, or really extended, this isn't a black dirt breakdown, but really extended charts to the downside, is RSI doesn't matter because news is trumping RSI at this point. So this is a very weak chart. 39.81 is your key support. Let's see if we can get another level here. 39.53. So 39.53 and 36.21. Those could be bottom fish levels. However, if this is some heavy news, which how would I know it's heavy news, is look at this volume. Almost 2 million exchanged in pre-market, and well, the average volume is 99 million, but I don't know how much we can really trust that with Viacom being such in the news so much lately. So let me give you a key resistance on Viacom: 42.49 and 43.50. What's the next name? Romeo Power. Romeo Power is having a big bull break in pre-market, kind of breaking bull from this wedge action. In the regular trading hours, we need to break 905. So 905 is the key level. Let's see if we have a level here, and then 912. Your next resistance is not until $10 psychological and 1086. You have support down at 893 and 824. Again, this is not Bobby, Susie, Johnny buying at 1.7 million pre-market volume, and this is 20 minutes old, so who knows what the volume is now. And the average volume is 7.8 million, so we've already turned over a quarter's worth of a day's volume in pre-market on RMO. Next is NOK. Nokia, I don't know what their volume is representative of, 1.1 million. I don't see anything interesting here. So your key resistance on NOK, 406, 408. Support, 397 and 391. Let me get a little coffee. And then we have Apple. I believe Apple had an upgrade. I'll be wrapping up here in about 5 minutes. And then you TCG members can jump on over in the room and listen to Dan live. So on Apple, 127.22 is your next resistance, and 128.75. Those are some after hours levels. Let's get those levels. Actually, they are regular trading hour levels, 127.22 and 128.72. And if you'll remember, we talked about Tesla having a frown overhead with the 50 MA, the simple moving average. We have a little bit of a frown overhead as well with Apple. I need to get through that 127.22 and then 128.72. And then we would be over that daily 50 MA. Your next one is CS. Credit Suisse. Now, Credit Suisse was behind that. I may have to wrap up a little sooner. Credit Suisse was behind that margin call. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap up. So your key resistance there is 1103, 1108, and support 1042. So I apologize for my voice going out and starting a little bit later, but hopefully this pre-market scan helped you with potentially scouting down your new stories. Have a safe trading day this Tuesday, and use stop losses.